So the rate at which change is happening in the world, and even if you look at organizations at large, even in life, is really alarming. I don't know how people keep up with change because there are so many things that are happening at the same time. Maybe you guys should let us know, how do you actually keep up with change? And if you look at certain organizations, how do they actually manage to change their processes and even worse, their culture? How do you manage change within your project delivery? Hello onliners, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Julia Nelau. I'm a project manager by profession, and in the studio today, I'm sitting with Engelbeth Jami. Welcome, Jami, to the studio. I am so excited to have you today because I know there's so much that we are going to be talking about, especially within the project management, change management space. Welcome, Jami, to the studio.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you for having me, and hello, everyone.
Thank you, Jami. So today we are going to be talking about the importance of change management in project management. We really want to unpack why change management is so important to organizations. Before we dive into the nitty-gritties of the topic, definitely I know you guys want to know who Jami Engelbeth is. Now, from my point of view, Jami Engelbeth is a very good friend of mine. He's one of the people that have found their passion when it comes to career. So Jami Engelbeth is a project manager by profession. He has been in the project management space for the past 10 years, specifically in the banking sector. And most of you guys that have the chance to work with Jami, you will know how impactful and how much value Jami actually brings to project management and change management space in a nutshell. Just from a qualifications, academic background, Jami started off in computer science. He studied computer science from the University of Namibia. And from there, he then dived into business analysis, did a little bit of business analysis, and then settled with project management in the banking sector. Jami studied project management at the University of Cape Town. And in addition to that, he is also PMP certified. Really one of the most impactful people that we have within the project management space. I hope you guys follow him on LinkedIn because there is so much that he's offering, especially in the project management space. Enough said, let me hand over to Jami. Jami, please let us know a little bit about yourself. I know I haven't said it all.
No, Julia, I think your introduction was very overwhelming. I hope I can live up to that introduction. But definitely, yes, I am a project manager by profession. Have been in the project management industry for a long time now. My hair is even gray. I had to cut it just to make sure that it doesn't appear in the video.
Definitely.
So, yeah, but recent of tried to dive deep into the fields of leadership and change management.
Maybe I just, that's really one most important thing that I've forgotten. Jami is currently finalizing. It's actually done if you think about it. So he's finalizing his master's degree in change management and leadership. Why did you choose that path?
Well, I think from my experience from working on projects, I've realized that, the two, change management and leadership, would really add a lot more value instead of just stopping at project management. I think it's important to dive deeper into some of these aspects and try and help deliver better value from projects, and not just deliver a successful project, but deliver a successful product out of a project. Exactly. So that's why I dive deeper into leadership and change management to just make sure that what I deliver has impact beyond the project.
That's excellent. And now, project management is such a big component of what we do in life in general. We are talking about the importance of change management in project management today, but maybe let's first start off unpacking what exactly is project management and what does it mean to a Namibian industry, and also are we embracing it enough within the Namibian context?
Today we're talking about change management, and I saw you already have a video on project management, so people can go to that video to refer to the textbook definition of project management. Mm-hmm. I'll define project management today as the use of skills, tools, and techniques to deliver a change initiative.
Okay.
Since we are discussing change today. A change initiative being anything that brings about change. Mm. It can be as small as, upgrading your computer, or it can be as big as, building 300 kilometer road.
Are we embracing it enough within Namibian context? Do we have enough project managers in Namibia? What does it mean to the Namibian industry?
So I think in the Namibian context, our journey within project management is still very young. We're still at the baby stages of the project management journey, but we definitely are embracing it. Do we have enough project managers? I think that's arguable because the term project manager is loosely used in terms of projects within an organization. So that is debatable. But from what I've seen in terms of the number of certified project managers within the country, from PMP perspective, that number has been increasing. I think we have moved on from, by 2012, there were probably only about less than 20. And I think today there are more than 50 PMP certified project managers in the country. And you can also see, even in the recently launched Harambee Prosperity Plan,
Yes.
you can see there's a focus in project management. It's a pillar that's specifically been also placed there, that whatever we deliver must have timelines to it. It must have, there must be a journey to it. It's not just something that's open-ended. There must be a start and a stop to it. So I think we are definitely embracing it in the country, and we can see it in the political sphere. It's also moving into that direction. And even within the educational sphere as well, you can see especially efforts from the Namibian School of Business. They have a project management qualification that they're offering, and they're also helping out Namibians get PMP certified, and that's why we have seen an increased number of PMPs in the country. And they're also doing a lot of research into project management in the country. So as a country, we're really embracing it, although we're at the beginning stages, but we are definitely on the right path.
Oh, that is excellent. That's excellent to hear. Now, talking about project management and change management, I know they are similar, very similar, but in principle, they are quite different. So let's just maybe unpack what exactly is the difference between the two, project management and change management. What is the actual differentiator?
Project management is more like the overall umbrella. Project management would be the end-to-end what will deliver the change. And then change management is something within that umbrella that will make sure that change that is delivered is accepted by the people who are going to benefit from this change. If we use set theory, and I'm specifically using that because I had to memorize these terms from my earlier years. If you look at set theory, project management will be the superset, and change management will be the subset within this project management superset. Or if we take maybe a more realistic example, if you take, for example, of a house, project management will be the whole house, and change management would be a room within that house.
Okay, so
I know change management professionals would really kill me for
definitely
squeezing it in there.
Definitely. So what you are trying to say is project management is the actual house, and change management is a subset within the
That
actual
house. Correct, yes.
All right. Okay. Now looking at organizations, maybe let's talk about how important is it to embrace project management as part of their organizational processes. How important is project management to organizations? Maybe just to rephrase the question, what are the challenges that organizations will face implementing change within organizations?
Okay. So how important is project management within an organization? I think it's a very important concept, not just within an organization, but even within life as well. You don't want to have these goals which are timeless. You need to set time to what you want to achieve. From organizational perspective, if you want to increase your sales, there should definitely be a time to it. I mean, there's usually now this new way that says, no, you need to set SMART goals.
Yeah.
It must be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. So that's what project management looks at. It focuses more on the time-bound aspect, and there's also the aspect that within project management, you must deliver within time, within budget, so there's a cost aspect to it, and within scope.
Yes.
So there's a defined scope. It's definitely an important aspect for organizations because without that, you are really having to shift the goalpost every time. You said we are delivering this, but every time you're just shifting the goalpost to say, okay, we'll deliver it next year. Next year comes, we'll deliver it next year. So it's very important for organizations to say, okay, we are setting ourselves a target for this year and this is what we must achieve. After the year, you evaluate if you have achieved it or not. But whenever you take on initiatives and say, okay, well, we are going to bring about this change in the organization, you must also set timelines to it and say, okay, within this time frame, we're going to deliver this. Then after that, you evaluate and say, okay, have we met it? Have we not met it? Why have we not met it? And then you can improve on it.
Yes.
Rather than just doing things haphazardly without a specific way of doing those things and specific timelines to deliver those things.
Yes. Now, I know that you come from a technical background, just as much as you come from a project management background as well as a change management background. And you are definitely aware of tools that get rolled out in the industry in general. Even if you just look at tools like your Facebook or Instagram or even TikTok, there are so many changes that have been implemented, and people are actually accommodating the change that is happening, especially within that space. But if you look at organizations, when it comes to changing systems, and especially systems that organizations or people have been using for a very long time, there's that pushback that you can get from people within the organization. And those are some of the challenges that can come as part of implementing a change process. How best do we tackle challenges in organizations? And how do we tweak and change the mindset of the people to accommodate change much quicker?
Okay. So I think if we just take a step back on your question to say organizations like Facebook, how do they get it right for people to adapt their changes faster? And then if we compare it to our organizations, why is there a lot of pushback? So I think organizations like Facebook, when they do their development or when they design their tools or the improvement to their process, they are more data focused. They look at what the people need and they develop based on that. They are more responding to the people's needs. Now, within our organizations, we might not necessarily be responding to what our employees need. We want to respond to our customers. So that's where it becomes difficult. So maybe by responding to our customer needs, for example, especially this new word that has now come up, digitization, we might be upsetting our employees. So that's why it becomes a bit of a challenge to say you want to solve for the customer, who is ultimately the reason why your organization exists, but solving for customer involves your employees.
Definitely.
And sometimes you have to upset your employees, or you have to disrupt the way your employees do things to be able to give better service to your customers.
And to please your customers.
Yes, to please your customers. So that's what usually brings about resistance within an organization, and that's where change management now comes in and try and smoothen that resistance or make sure that it's as minimal as possible, or it does not disrupt the outcome that you want to achieve at the end of the project. So that is definitely the difference between the two, where one is more customer focused and they use data and they develop and do things according to what the customer needs, according to their data. And with organizations, they're also looking at the customer, but the resistance is more within the organization. Well, that's why there is a very important emphasis that needs to be placed on change management to make sure that as we please our customer, we do not do it at the expense of our own employees. It's very important. It's going to be very bad for organization to deploy or to release the latest and greatest technology out there. But then the customer inquires on that technology, the employees will be like, no, I don't know about that. Ask the manager, call management. So that would not reflect good on the organization. So that's why it's important to make sure that we always integrate change management into everything that we do as an organization in terms of improvements when we do changes, that we make sure that everyone is on the same path, because it's a collective effort to deliver a value to the client at the end.
Definitely. I'm worried about the rate at which change is happening in the world, and even for the organization. We are moving from a point where organizations had a plan, and especially if I link this video to the video that I had with Johanna Amadila in terms of strategy, where organizations normally have a plan in terms of what it is that we want to achieve in the next 5 years. But nowadays, change is happening so fast, and organizations and even people need to keep up with changes that are happening. How do people need to keep abreast, and at that much quicker rate, how do you actually even catch up?
Okay. I think, in the change management or organizational development sphere, we refer to organizations as open systems, which interact with other systems, and every other system that they interact with can force them to change. So definitely the rate of change now is enormous. And there needs to be some sort of method in that madness to try and manage that change. So I think it's very important for organizations to make sure that they gear up their employee or their organization to be able to embrace change. So if you present yourself as a stagnant organization, as an organization that does things one way and one way only, it will really be difficult for you to implement change within that organization. So it has to be from the organizational culture as well. And I know that's a very big investment when you have to reset a culture or when you have to change the culture. But if you want the organization to accept change rapidly, you need to make sure the culture allows for rapid change acceptance. You also need to make sure that you invest in leadership that will enable people to go through these change initiatives. Because you don't want to have a situation where leadership and the people on the ground are disconnected, especially when going through change. You need to make sure that you're all moving in the same direction. So it's important to make sure that you invest in leadership that will enable or that will sail or that will guide the organization through change initiatives. So those are, from my view, the key aspect that we can look into as organizations to manage change more efficiently. We need to look into the organizational culture and we need to look into the leadership within the organization. And it's also very important that we also come up with, there needs to be a method for us when we implement changes. There needs to be a method for organizations to be able to manage that change. You can't just haphazardly, sometimes you do this, sometimes you do that. There needs to be a specific method to that. And that's where your investments in change management specialists would really pay off as an organization to make sure that, if you implemented a change this time and it didn't work out well, the people did not accept it, the next time when you implement a change, you should not repeat that again. You should learn from that and make sure that, okay, now you developed a method, a methodological way of trying to implement your changes.
Definitely. Always a very smart conversation when I'm having conversations with Jamie. I think that wraps up our conversation for today. Really a lot of highlights that is coming out of this conversation around change management, around project management in a nutshell. And really one of the highlights is that we need to embrace it. And within our organizations, we need to cultivate an innovative culture where we embrace change and then we allow for the leadership to embrace change as well. Really a smart conversation. There's going to be so many conversations again within the project management space with me and Jamie. So make sure that you keep tuned. Jamie, it was really special having you in the studio today. And what more can I say? I think you have really wrapped everything well from, what project management is, what exactly is change management, how do we embrace it, and then how do we cultivate an innovative culture. I don't think there's anything that we've missed. This is Julia Nelawa again, and in the studio with me today is Jamie Engelbert, one of the most innovative project managers of our times. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please remember to subscribe. We'll see you again in our next chat. Thank you. Ciao.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Jamie.
Bye. Bye.